The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome!
Every time I do this. But since the soundboard doesn't want to work anymore,
Fucking bullshit!
I have an idea. We'll have to just make a new intro specifically for YouTube and settle in nicely. The first Conspiracy Series episode is being worked on as we speak, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here for a few different reasons. First of all, I need my button back. Man, it's not the same. I'll have to see if I can get it. Later on, I'll close all this shit out and see if I could just record it and rip it to a fucking audio deal. But any of these platforms you can find a podcast on: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Castbox, Stitcher, all that shit. So maybe you didn't hear from the beginning, you could go back and check it out, dude. There's over 30 episodes that are already up for you to listen to. So now that we got that out of the way, there's also a Twitter at Laughing Birds. You can follow that for exclusive clips that are just for the Twitter page, as well as the Instagram, which would be YT Jack of One Trade. Both of those platforms have specific clips that are cut to them and put on each platform. So do that shit also. More importantly though, rate the podcast on your platform that you listen to it on. That just makes it more visible for other people to see it, and that helps me out because that's important. More people see it, the more you already know. You should already know. It makes it easier to get guests if that's what we want to do. You know, spread the fucking word around, man. But why I came here, what originally made me walk through this door was that a while ago, a long time ago, probably when I had the traveling cannabis people on. As a matter of fact, I could pull it up on the thing if it didn't load on my phone yet. Continue, come on. The Facebook is being a pain in my dick, so let's just cut the picture for obvious reasons. You know, we gotta fucking keep some information private here. Damn. Okay, so on July 12th of this year, I sent a local activist group a message on Facebook trying to get some answers because there's been back and forth about whether weed's going on the ballot next year rather, which apparently that's what they're fucking hoping for, which is ridiculous. That means we still have a whole nother year that we have to go through, because it won't be till November of 2020, which will push the fucking bill to actually be finished probably around 2022. Who knows if I'm gonna live that long? I don't know. But I'll tell you this much, I'll be fucking pissed if I don't. But anyway, I hit them up and I asked them about that. And then I also asked them, like, you know, would you guys, since you're a fucking activism group and you know what all is happening behind the scenes in these courthouses at these hearings, will you come on the fucking podcast? And I finally just got an answer back now from July. Almost 2 months to the day. 2 days away from 2 months. They just hit me back and said, can we get some more information on your podcast? What the fuck do you want? What do you want? What could you possibly need, dude? I already told you what it's about. Like, I don't understand these people, bro. What do you think you're walking into? What do you think I'm gonna be, some fucking anti-guy that's gonna be like, oh, fuck weed, and you're doing the work of the devil's lettuce, and like, what do you think? What do you think we're doing here? I talk, like, go back and read the log of the messages, dude. Y'all know my fucking story. So all I'm trying to do is, I literally said in that motherfucking message, like, hold on, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up just so that I make sure that I'm not crazy. Let's see what the fuck I said to them. So I have 2 questions, reading conflicting articles about what is playing on the television right now. Hold on, I gotta figure out what the fuck that is because I didn't put that on. I figured it out. Apparently what it was, I was watching Bill Burr's new Netflix special, Paper Tiger, and when it was finished, Netflix just automatically started playing a trailer for some spy show. I didn't watch the trailer, obviously. I'll check it out later. Yeah, but that's not what's important. Where was I at? Oh yeah, questions. They're supposed to be put on the ballot. Okay. On the following election, is that not the case anymore? Second question is easier. Run a podcast. Wanted to speak to you about the topic above, along with ongoing efforts of what it is that you and other groups are doing to change policy. If it is possible, anytime you're able would be appreciated. I don't understand what you don't understand about that. What more information do you need? I tell you what I'm trying to do. Like, I'll give you the fucking... I guess I should just send them a fucking link. Oh, but look at the last episode that I put out. That's not gonna be good at all. See, this is why... This is no good. This is no good. Because then this shit happens. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna fucking do? I know exactly what I'm gonna fucking do. How about we do this? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to episodes. We're going to find Traveling Cannabis and we're gonna send that to them. And if they click on anything else, that's their problem. Because I'm not, you know what? Because fuck that. I'm not gonna be worried about... Now let's make sure this works. Okay, I guess it does. Now we'll go over to Bitly here, paste the link, copy that, jump back over to Facebook, paste that. Oh, fuck. You know what, I gotta make sure I'll do iTunes, because I don't know why it's coming up as create a podcast on Anchor. That's not what I want at all. I need to make sure that when they click the link, they're going to hear the fucking episode. It's the whole point of doing it. Plus, it would make sense to send them Traveling Cannabis simply because it's a fucking interview like deal.
File done.
So I just sent them a link for iTunes with the Traveling Cannabis interview on it, or guest spot, whatever the fuck you want to call it, so they can kind of hear what it is that they're going to be getting themselves into. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. At this point, 2 years removed away, the local government is already talking about trying to pass recreational weed again. So soon it's gonna seem like, you know, this is not, it's not even gonna be worth it to fucking talk to you. Because, I mean, I do research myself and figure this shit out. So that happened. I don't know where all that's gonna go. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be cool to have them on, But at the same time, I'm not begging anybody to do my shit. I don't need you, dude. You know what I mean? I can easily find out information. While it would be awesome to understand what all goes on behind closed doors before the cameras turn on and the microphones that don't work so everybody's yelling at each other in the courtroom turn on, we'll just have to speculate. So anyway, this fucking guy, dude. I'm sitting outside, and this is completely unrelated. The other day, I want to say Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember which day it was, and this fucking weird looking dude comes walking over. And he walks over to the office, and I don't know why they all do this. They all do it. I think it's like a human instinct to do this. But they fucking... The sign to the office has a big sign on it.
You dumb fuck!
What I meant to say was there's a big sign in the window that has writing on it that says closed. Not the big sign has a big sign on it. Fucking idiot. That says closed. And if that's not enough for you, there's a piece of paper that is taped in the window that says the hours of the establishment, of when they will be in the office and when they won't be. We already know they're not here on weekdays. Now, to be fair, somebody that doesn't live here that may be coming to the office for the first time may not know that. But either way, dude walks over, looks inside, sees there's no lights on, nobody's in the office, and then he turns the knob, it tries to open the door, sees that it's locked. Then he looks over and sees me sitting there, and he goes, "What's up with this?" I was like, "Dude, nobody works on weekends. There's nobody here." "Oh, what kind of fucking place is that?" Look, I don't know, man. I don't know what... Save your shit, alright, bitch? I live here, so don't talk to me about how difficult it is to fucking deal with the people that run this joint sometimes because of schedule. So please save it. Anyway, so I guess somewhere this motherfucker thought, you know, it'd be a good idea if I walk over to where this stranger is that I've never met before, and I'm gonna go sit over there and talk to him. Now, I don't mind. This guy was a fucking creep. Like, you could just smell it on him, you know? So he sits down, and he starts talking to me, and you could tell right away, this person is not all there. That's number one. For two, he's very conceited because he keeps talking about how, you know, he's seen things and he drove a truck, blah, 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 amount of miles. And, you know, he could write a book with the life that he's lived. And I'm looking at this guy like, dude, you're saying all the things that a person that actually lived that life would never say. Never. In a million years. Never. Especially not to a fucking stranger. Like, you could have that conversation with a friend, but not somebody that you just met. That you don't even know. You don't even know my name. You don't know what I'm about. Nothing. So anyway, this fucking guy, I asked him because he's sitting there staring, looking around. So I'm like, dude, were you trying to get a fucking place in here or what? And he said, yeah, I applied in November and I was waiting for a call back. So I decided to stop in and try to talk to somebody to see if I can get an update on what's going on. Okay, maybe that's true, but we also applied in November, as well as everybody else that fucking lives here that I've talked to, signed an application in between November and December. And everybody that's here either got in or didn't get in because of their background, whatever the situation is. So already, my antennas are up and they're moving around a little bit. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So he immediately changes the subject off of the fact that he wanted to rent here, and he brings up that the world that we live in is such a horrible place. I went. This is how I knew the guy was a bullshitter. Right off the top, as if I needed any more. He said, I went to the casino. I didn't gamble. I just went down to the casino. I walked around. I talked to a few people. I had a couple of meals. And I left. And then when I went out into the parking lot, my truck doors were open. So somebody broke into my fucking truck. And I don't know what they were trying to steal. I don't have anything in there, but it's the fucking point that you can't even go into a casino anymore without people trying to rob you. And there's security all over the place, but they're too busy watching what you're doing and not worried about what people are doing outside. Okay, let's break this down piece by piece. First of all, nobody starts out by saying, I went to Atlantic City and I didn't gamble. There's only 3 things you're doing if you go to Atlantic City. You are gambling, you are buying drugs, or you're getting a hooker. That is it. There is nothing else to do out there. Nothing at all. And either way, no matter which one of those 3 things that you are going to do, you probably will wind up gambling in a fucking casino. So that made me originally think that maybe this guy had a gambling addiction. But then I sat and thought about it for a moment. And, if it was a gambling addiction, I think that would have definitely came up first in conversation. But then why are you going out to... I get it. We'll just skip that part. Anyway, he goes for talking about that. And then he says, I also wanted to get a place. I wanted to rent a spot or buy a spot. I don't know how the condos work. If you rent them or buy them, I'm pretty sure you could do both. That's what I want to know. Most often, those looking at condos are choosing to do so because they want to invest their money into owning property, as opposed to apartments where your rent goes to your landlord, and buying and paying a condo is a form of investing in yourself. Okay. But you can rent them, yes? People living in condos generally pay HOA fees along with their rent to enjoy the facility's extra perks. Rental availability can be difficult for condos. Is that homeowners association? And mortgages agreements do not allow condo owners to rent their units. For this reason, finding condos for rent might be difficult. I don't know about that. What is HOA fee? Homeowners Association fee is the amount of money that must be paid monthly by owners of certain types of residential properties. HOA collects these fees to assist with maintaining and improving properties in association with whatever blah blah blah. Okay, so basically you're paying your fucking super. That's all that is. Even though if anything breaks, you're probably responsible for it yourself. But he says, I was thinking about getting a deal across the way over there, because one of my friends is living over there and it's pretty nice. Now, hold on, because you kind of lost me there, buddy. The place across the way starts out at $250,000. Say what? Starts out at $250,000. This place that you put an application for in November is a low income property, sir. if you have $250,000 sitting around, what the fuck do you think you're doing trying to get in a low-income joint? Just want to let you know that you fucking kind of ratted yourself out there. Stupid asshole. So, time is going on. My neighbors that live in the side of the building come out. They see some fucking weird guy sitting out there, and I'm sitting out there. They're looking at me like, what the fuck is with this dude? Who the fuck are you bringing around in our neighborhood, guy? I'm like, dude, it's not. I just went like, I don't know. I was like, hey, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but so he sees them get out and he turns to them and with an attitude he goes, do you work here or do you live here? And they were like, what? He goes, I said, do you work here or are you residents of the complex? And they were like, we're residents. Why? He's like, oh, I was asking you because apparently people around here don't like to work. Like, what? Alright, dude. So he decides he's going to get up and walk over to them. Now, you better be legalizing weed, motherfucker. Huh? Alright, fuck you, Facebook Messenger. Come on, you cunt. If you're not gonna work, you're not gonna work. Go fuck yourself. Let's see what the governor is doing quickly. Ugh, stop sucking your own dick. Oh, New Jersey is proudest of their gun laws. Yeah, be proud of your weed law, motherfucker, and pass the goddamn bill already, will you? Fucking asshole. Anyway, he walks over to them and he's having a conversation with them, so I figure it's over, right? And they're talking about football from what I overhear, Redskins, Eagles, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Much less do I care. But now all I'm thinking is, alright, this is my chance to get the fuck out of here before this guy starts talking to me again. Right, so I see two of my other neighbors pull in from the food store and they're bringing their bags inside, which they catch his eye, right? But then something happens. There's a park directly across from the spot that I sit at because sometimes it's shady, it's comfortable, there's no benches, it's the only place to sit down, so I'm trying to get at. But there's a park directly across the way where people bring their kids. Sometimes people from across the way come over and they bring their kids. Where the guy with the dog shit dog walked over. Some lady brings her kid over and immediately he stops in his tracks and starts walking towards the kid. Takes about 3 steps and then quickly shakes his head, turns around and goes walking towards my neighbors. And he stops them and he's talking to them. I can't hear what the fuck he's saying, but I'm assuming like, alright, this is it. That was fucking weird. Not into that at all, but he's gonna talk to them, he's gonna ask them some stupid questions, and then he's going to fucking leave. Apparently, not what happened. I go in the building, and Jen's in the hallway talking to somebody, and she's like, I was coming down, I'm like, yo, you took too long, creepers outside, I'm going to fuck in the house. I give her her art book and her pen back, and I almost forgot. Dudes ask me, like, what do I do? What do I do? Before he asked me what I do, he asked me how old I was. And I was like 34. And he got a disgusted look on his face. I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't like... I know a lot of people don't like fucking younger people. When you hit a certain age, I guess you're like, fuck them. They're all dickheads. They have no respect, no manners, whatever. And he sees Jen's art book outside. And he is like, oh, so you're going to school? And I'm like, no, that's her art book. She draws. Ugh. And walks away. Like, okay. So anyway, I roll in the fucking house. Probably about 20 minutes later, I get a phone call.
Who the hell is this?
Jen's like, can you come down here and bring a drink with you? Come over to this spot. You know, I want to fucking talk to you about something. So I'm like, alright, something's going on, dude. So I go outside, I walk over, and my other neighbors, now they have a little girl. Dude, she's cute as shit. And I don't, like, ugh, it feels gross to even say that. But you know what I mean? Like, I mean it in a nice way, not in a gross, creepy, disgusting kind of way. Like, she's a cute kid. That's I don't know how else to put it, but she's a kid, so you know, she's a little dumb still, like they all are. Anyway, dude didn't leave. What he wound up doing, apparently, he drove all the way to the other side of the parking lot and was following them because they have a child. And, you know, one of my boys was like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here. Saying that to the guy. And the guy was like, what's going on? And he drives out, and then he comes back around again and drives back over again. And he's like, yo, what the fuck did I just tell you? And he's like, I thought you were calling me over. That's why I came back. He was like, what? Yo, get the fuck out of here right now, dude. I'm not even fucking playing with you. So I guess the dude decides that he's going to leave. Right? So I walk over right after all of this shit happens. And they're like, yeah, you know, some guy is in the parking lot and they're telling me the whole deal. And I'm like, well, dude, you know, I think I might have had a run-in with the same guy. And I give the description, you know, what he was wearing and what he looked like. And they're like, yeah, that's the same guy for sure. And one of them says, like, yo, I think that dude might be a fucking pedophile. Like, there's got to be a way that we can try to find out, see if we can look at a database or something. So I do a little bit of a search, and I pull up a website, and I wind up getting some fucking pictures of pedophiles that are in my area. Now, I'm not going to show you the picture, but what I will do is I'm going to pull the picture up so I can see the info. Now, I see this guy's name. He's listed here as being 200 pounds. I think he's a little bit more than that now. White dude. Now, it says that he's got tattoos on his left and right arms in a few different places. I did notice the ink and how old it was. That was one of the first things that caught my eye. Outside of the fact that I guess pedophiles really like baseball hats. Old, decrepit ones too, not new ones. And they have that look about them. But either way, I'm looking this fucking dude up, and I come across this guy, and I'm like, well, that kind of looks like him. And I show everybody, and I'm like, hey, do you think this is the same cat? And they're like, yo, that's definitely him. The only difference is now he's wearing glasses, and he has a beard. I mean, this dude is fucking beat up too, dude. He fucking stinks. Oh, and apparently he was driving around with pillows and blankets in his back seat. And we don't think that he was sleeping in his car. They actually said that when he was driving through the parking lot, he slowed down when he went like past their kid. So I guess he was considering a snatch and grab. But I looked at this fucking, and I'm gonna use the word, I'm sorry, because don't be offended by this, because clearly the man is not, I mean, whatever, that's what he is. He's a fucking, you know what I mean? I don't like pedophiles, and when I think of this dude, that's what he would have been called back in the fucking day. But either way, his fucking record, look up his record, and he was charged with aggravated criminal sexual conduct. on December 5th in 2013. Now, we look at his deal, and it says he's a registrant. I guess that's what they say. Sexually, okay, so listen to this. He sexually assaulted a 16-year-old mentally handicapped female and a 60-year-old blind female. Like, dude. And he was criminal restraint with injury risk, must be under 18. I don't know what the fuck that means. He did it in Hudson County, which I don't think is far from here. But he's living in my county, in my fucking city right now. But to rape a 16-year-old girl and a 60-year-old blind woman, that is fucking disgusting. And, you know, what the fuck, dude? Like, if you look at a child, dude, how could you fucking think? How could you possibly think about doing something like that to a child? I mean, honest to God, dude, how the fuck can you do that? If the kid is acting a fool, slapping him around a little bit, I get that. And I don't mean like crazy capital punishment, beat the shit out of them. I mean, you know, they get fresh a little bit, you fucking slap them around. Not hardcore. Some of you that are a little bit older probably know what the fuck I'm talking about. Or if you came up in my era, if you were a latchkey kid, you know what I'm talking about. We got fucking whoopings, dude, like real time ass whoopings, not this bullshitty go to your fucking safe room bullshit. We didn't get none of that. Now, I'm not saying that violence is always the answer, but you know, if your kid needs a fucking spank, I get it. Even though it should always be the last resort of what you do. But I can't even bring my fucking self to say it. And then a 16-year-old dude, when I see 16-year-old girls walking around, it grosses me the fuck out. Like, I can't even imagine. I would never, I mean, who knows, maybe if I have a midlife crisis, if I make it to 50, maybe I would look at a fucking 21-year-old girl and be like, oh, you know, to be young again. But I don't think so, dude. Because I see chicks that are younger now, and I'm just like, I can't, it's disgusting. Like, I can't even watch amateur porn, bro. They look too young. And it grosses me out. I can't do it. So I can't even imagine to do that. And then on top of that, there's somebody that's fucking handicapped, which he did ask me, you know, what I do. And I told him I'm fucking disabled, and I seen his fucking filthy eyebrows perk up. Like, I wish you would try to touch my butt, you motherfucker. I would beat the shit out of you so quick, you have no idea. And now to find out that you're into kids on top of that, whoa, it's over for you. Are you fucking nuts? I have a special hate in my heart. For pedophiles that fucking think it's a good idea to ruin a fucking child, dude. Now, don't get me wrong. I have sympathy for the people who understand that they're sick. They go to somebody for therapy and to try to get fucking help. Okay? I understand that. I think that's the right thing to do. But once you cross that line and you attempt to fucking touch a kid, or you're fucking looking at child porn or whatever, done. No discussion. Nope. You know that's not right. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about, oh, well, you know, years ago people didn't think being gay was the right thing, but, you know, now gay people get married, so why can't I marry a kid? Go fuck yourself. Let me tell you why. Because two gay people can make a fucking conscious choice to have an interaction with one another, okay? A child cannot give a fucking adult consent for something like that. They should be busy trying to put a fucking Lincoln log house together, or drawing pictures on a fucking sidewalk with chalk, or whatever the fuck it is that kids do, play hopscotch or whatever. That's what kids should be fucking worried about doing, not being invaded by some fucking mongrel that ugh, it's fucking gross. But the long story short, dude, I feel like a fucking jerk that I sat there and let this fool talk. I mean, my immediate instinct was to pick up my phone and turn on the Anchor app. No bullshit, because it will pick up conversation. I should have, every part of my brain was like, dude, you should be recording this right now. I don't know why, but you should be doing it, because, he's gonna say some shit that, you might want to fucking go back to later. But I didn't, and I should have, so that I could have played everybody his voice. But the good thing is, at least by me sitting out there and letting him talk to me, a lot of people in the neighborhood got a really good look at him. So now at least they know, they see that fucking coming around to, keep their kids away. I mean, they would do that regardless, but still. You're extra on your guard when a fucking, stranger piece of shit is around. But, one of the people here did call the cops, gave him my phone, let him call. He called. It took like 25 minutes for the cops to show up, which is fucking bananas, because somebody calls about noise complaints or saying that somebody's fucking allegedly smoking weed somewhere around here, and they're hearing a fucking heartbeat, dude. But you telling us some fucking kitty grabbing nasty cocksucker is creeping around here trying to fucking see what his prospects are, and they take their sweet fucking time. So dude shows up, and apparently he says to my boy, like, dude, there's nothing that we could do. There's nothing we could do, because he technically didn't do anything. I mean, although if you're a fucking sex offender, you should not. Your whole deal is that you're not supposed to be around children, or and there's a school not far from here. So the other thing too, dude, like, come on, man, the fuck. But either way, cop is like, there's nothing that we could do. But he's like, he pulls up the picture, the same picture I pulled up on my fucking phone when he gave the cop the description. Cop pulled up a picture and said, this the guy? He was like, yeah. So at least we know, we found the right motherfucker. But again, you could be offended if you want to, but I don't mean to use that word in a malice kind of a way. Yeah, let's see. I want to see what this is. What is Megan's Law's social and legal monstrosity? Megan's Law, New Jersey began with the brutal rape and murder of a little girl. Perpetrator was convicted as a sex offender who lived nearby. Started campaign to require neighborhood notification of nearby sex offenders. How do you get off Megan's Law? What does Megan's Law require? Requires a person convicted of sex crimes against children to notify local law enforcement of any change of address or employment after release from custody from prison or psychiatric care. Okay, so, right, but doesn't that mean, though, that they would have to fucking... I don't understand. Shouldn't they not be allowed near fucking places like this? Because you couldn't, on the application to move in here, it says that you couldn't live here if you were convicted of a sex crime or even domestic violence, you couldn't live here. Sex offenders must fill out registration form to submit to their local police department. Form requests personal information, including home address, employment, what types of offenses require registration. I'm pretty sure it's even rape too, but let's find out. And I mean on adults, not children, obviously. The offenses requiring registration include aggravated sexual assault, aggravated criminal sexual contact, which is what that guy was arrested for, criminal sexual contact if victim is a minor, endangering the welfare of a child by engaging in sexual conduct which would impair or debauch the morals of a child, endangering the welfare of a child through acts of involving pornography featuring a child, promoting prostitution of a child, luring or enticing, kidnapping, criminal restraint, and false imprisonment if the victim is a minor and the offender is not a parent of the victim. Okay, now I assume that means for the last one, which would be false imprisonment, because if you tell your child to go to their fucking room, just as an example, I wouldn't think that would be false imprisonment. However, if you are not a parent to that child, I would imagine that would be the same thing. Because we learned from Joey Coco Diaz, kidnapping is making somebody go from one room to another room against their will. That's all it is. I could literally take you out of this room and push you into the hallway forcibly. I could be considered kidnapping you if you didn't want to go. Pretty sure that's how it works. Anyway, let's see. I already read that. Who is required to register? Sex offenders who have been convicted. It went into law October 31st, 94. Who are serving a sentence on the effective date. Okay. Juvenile sex offenders required to register. Juvenile sex offender is a person who commits a sex offense while under the age of 18. They must register when they're adults. In another state, you have 10 days to register. Okay. Required to report change of address. Okay, we already know that. What if you fail to register? How does notification process work? Prosecutor. Okay. County prosecutor receives registration forms from the local police, then must determine the risk of the community, likelihood that the offender will commit another crime. In making that determination, the prosecutor weighs many factors set by statutes and attorney general guidelines. Prosecutor classifies sex offenders on one of three tiers based on the degree of risk they pose to the public. Low risk is tier 1, moderate risk is tier 2, high risk is tier 3. Classification determine who will receive notification. So this guy's a 3, right? This fucking cunt. He's a 3. Where is it? I just seen it before. Oh, he's a tier 2. So I guess that means that while he is a risk, they don't assume that he will do it again, which obviously is bullshit. Who will receive notification? The risk is low, level 1, law enforcement agencies are notified. If it's 2, in addition to law enforcement, schools, licensed daycares, summer camp, registered community organizations are notified. The sex offenders that are likely to encounter. Okay. Tier 3. Only a tier 3 is members of the public notified. Photograph, address, place of employment. Oh, it's a lot. Which, don't get me wrong, it's good that they have to report all that shit. But I would imagine, people feel very strongly about this shit. And then who's to say that another sex offender wouldn't happen to come across that information, go and meet up with that other piece of shit, and then they have a thing going on. You receive personal notification. Okay. What should I do if I receive notification? Wait, no, hold on. Information is available on the internet. Click on sex offender registry icon. Limits information to be placed on the internet to all high-risk offenders and some level 2. Law excludes all juvenile except for tier 3. Most moderate offenders whose crimes were committed against members of their own family and households, and moderate offenders whose crimes were considered statutory because of age. Reinforce general precautions about staying away from strangers. Ask your children to tell you or their caretakers where they will be at all times. Use your information responsibly. Talk to your children. Tell them to treat sex offenders as a stranger. Tell them where the sex offender lives, what he or she looks like, and what to do if they encounter or approach that person. If you believe a crime is being committed by a sex offender, contact your local police enforcement agency immediately, as you would do in any other suspect of criminal activity. Alright, what am I prohibited from doing? Any action taken against an individual named in the notification, including vandalism or property, verbal or written threats of harm, or physical violence against this person to his or her family or employer, will result in arrest and prosecution for criminal acts. Vandalism is not only a crime, it is an action that will undermine the efforts of those that have worked hard to enact this law. Okay, you know what? I understand that. I understand that because it probably took them a long time to get this shit passed, and they don't want people feeling, angry about this shit, going and destroying these people's houses, and then give these fucks the back door they need to fucking shut the law down.